Morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ladies What Pod, episode 11, where I am somewhere where I'm not normally, which is I haven't the faintest idea actually. I'm somewhere north of Shannon Airport, near Ennis, I think.
Top of the
At a
morning to
hotel
you
by a
and all
golf
that.
course. Top of the morning, and they're looking after us well after our flight was cancelled. So, hello, Liz. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm very well, actually, now. Thank you. Have barely strayed out of the house for 24 hours, needless to say, because I didn't want to get blown away. Well, living in fear of the wheelie bins disappearing off somewhere.
Well, actually, it's wheelie bin crisis here at the hotel. They're all over the shop. Somebody's got a terrible job clearing up the garden. It's not looking good out there, I tell you. And we're very lucky, we're told, by the people in the restaurant, because we're one of the few places in the area with power, because we've got our own generators.
That is lucky, yeah.
Yeah, so that is lucky.
Well, he's hoping you get home.
The reason we're here...
Go on.
So... let's talk Toaster Under Nines, the most important news of the weekend, I think.
The most, just see, whatever happened in Ireland is knocked into a cocked hat when you hear that Harry scored a try for Toaster Under Nines. I mean, that's it really. My life is complete. He was very pleased with himself, and his friend Max passed the ball to him, and he just ran. He said, "I just ran." Pretty much Tommy Freeman, I think, isn't it? You know, you just see ball, catch ball, run, and that's what he did, and scored a try. So he was very pleased with himself.
Brilliant.
I don't know if he put in any tackles, and I don't even know if they won, because I forgot to ask, because I just got a very, very excited 8-year-old boy telling me about his try. They were playing ONs. I'm sure they all had a wonderful time, and actually, at the moment, I don't like to keep asking if they won, because at the moment he's enjoying it so much, whether they win or lose, he's not really bothered. So, we'll just keep it at that, I think.
Well, there you go. Well done, Harry. Yep. Well done, Toaster Under Nines.
Yeah.
And the fact you're enjoying your rugby is even better, because that's what it's all about. There are another bunch of lads who are rather enjoying their rugby too, aren't there?
There are. Blimey. Everything they've won from every conceivable angle, I think, just about now this season, from 26-0 behind, from going down to 13 men, from going to places where people haven't lost since Adam was a lad, all those things, and they just keep doing it. My heart, I didn't dare go near this at all, because I think it would have gone off the scale if I'd been within anywhere close to it. And needless to say, you will not be surprised to know I didn't watch the game all the way. I was in and out, doing stuff, because
in and out. Right.
I thought no, I can do this, because we're through. It's not, but actually, no, when I tried to start to watch it, well, number one, the TNT commentary team, really, please. It was just unbelievable.
Don't go too soon.
We'll do that in Media Watch, yes. But yes.
We'll do that in Media Watch. But then, I know why. I've had...
Yeah. So I was in and out anyway, watching the things, and Ferbs, Sergeant Wilson getting a yellow card, surely not. I think that was, no, actually, when you look at it back, and what were you thinking, really? It was obviously an error.
Yeah, we did have a bit of a moment there.
He did have a bit of a moment. I was going to say, if I was a TNT commentary team, I'd be claiming the Munster chap flung himself down, but because that seemed to be the way they were working. But yeah, that was a bit of a moment, shortly followed by another moment that just Curtis, what? Honestly, I don't know what was going on there. From the angle they keep showing. Should we go back? Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah.
Let's
Right. Go, Mr.
she's
Jones.
she's going straight into the meat and two veg.
I know.
Let's do the build up.
Yeah.
So I know she's straight there. So
I know. So
the
excited.
build up to the game.
Yeah.
It was
it
a
very
brilliant
wet?
weekend. Yes, wet and windy. I predicted a wet and windy one, and it didn't let me down. What I would say is we flew on Friday and ended up in Flannery's Bar, where Graham McKechnie was holding court with Lenny, and lots of Saints fans. Ended up in conversation with lots of different people, which was great, including a few Saints players' families who travelled. Some of which without their sons. Their sons weren't playing this weekend. Gives you a clue who it might be. Yes,
I know.
and they'd gone on tour
Hello,
without
my
them.
tribe, Northern
this is what we
Gingers.
want.
Hello. I know who
This
you
is
are.
what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave the lads behind and go on tour anyway. This is good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a great evening in Flannery's, and then we headed off to, what was it, Hamptons, for a very nice steak and a glass of wine, which was very nice. So it was all very civilised, and stayed at a really nice hotel in the centre of the city. So it's one of those cities you can get around really easily anyway.
Yes.
And then on the day of the game, now the thing there is a Flannery's bar opposite. There's so many blooming Flannery's bars.
They're all Flannery's bars if they're not. Yeah.
Another. I think they are.
Yet another one.
We ended up in a Flannery's bar opposite. Another one. And what struck Dr. Jones and I was that the Munster supporters. No. I ended up sitting next to a charming chap who ranted at me for 20 minutes about the fact he'd sold his tickets. He was so fed up and so convinced they were going to lose. He'd sold his tickets and was funding his drinking on Saturday. Funding his drinking on Saturday night off the back of it.
Oh, I say. Interesting.
So they weren't a confident bunch, and they weren't confident not just because they've got a bit of an injury crisis at the moment, but actually how well Saints are playing. The view in the city, I love the way they talk about rugby around there. The view in the city is Dowse was going to bring the kids. So it would have been all the academy lads going, being brought over because we'd already qualified. And then when they saw the team sheet, it was like, oh, they mean it. And we did.
Yeah.
We absolutely did.
Yeah.
So I bumped into the TNT team, part of them anyway.
Oh, yes.
Because Sarah Elgin was on my flight on the way out. And she did, for those of you sitting in front of your telly for the weekend, she did the Connaught game, where later afterwards she told me they basically froze.
Yes.
And then she did our game on Saturday, where she ended up hiding under the camera because the rain was going horizontal. So the poor woman was cold on Friday and soaked through on Saturday. Brolly was not really up to it.
It looked awful on Friday.
Yeah. Brolly was up to it. So Sarah was absolutely delightful. Lizzie Goodchild, very kindly, I thought, offered her Saints hat because she was getting so wet. But she didn't take up the offer. But I think that would have brought some balance into the commentary team, given what later transpired. Because I was getting all sorts of messages pitch side, but people were very, very cross at Alan Quinlan and Donica, what's his face, being pitch side because they're 2 months to stalwarts. So I am looking forward. Now we've got a return game in the round of 16. I'm going to media watch now. But I think when we talk about the media, we need to make our proposal to TNT, of which Saintsmen
they have
need
an
to
all
be
English
pitch side in the return fixture.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, all Saints, because O'Callaghan and Quinlan are Munstermen. Yeah. So let's talk about that when we get to that. The game, I don't think. I've seen a few clips. I haven't seen the full match because I still haven't made it home. I don't think the TV gives you any idea of the conditions. It really doesn't.
The only time you get an idea of it, I think, is when the team are leaving the pitch and you can actually see in the background just sheet rain going like that. It's sort of, and having been to Thomond Park a couple of times, when it always seems to be like that, and horrific.
Yeah,
Looked
utterly
like,
horrific.
was it like
And
Glasgow?
it was different to Glasgow. So it wasn't like someone had turned the shower on. So Glasgow was like sitting in a warm shower. Yeah, because it wasn't actually that
Well, you say
cold in
warm.
Glasgow. Um,
No, it was very wet
yeah,
though.
it was.
Yeah.
It was very wet. Saturday, it's the wind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, kicking in the first half in, and anybody who was trying kicking so the grubber kicks were absolutely spot on when we were trying that, because anything into the wind and it was going back over your head. It was awful.
Yeah.
Finn was
Yeah.
leathering the ball during the warm up, and it was barely reaching the posts, and he looked a bit fed up, to the point that he started kicking the ball across the field in disgust. So yeah, it was so windy. But the second half, of course, we had the elements. Now I think first half. So the game. I think the warm up went really well. Everyone was buzzing about. They were clearly enjoying themselves, enjoying being there. For those who were coming back for a second game, it was like, yeah, now we've got it.
Yeah.
So I think the first half, that first 30 minutes, we were buzzing. We were playing some lovely stuff, given the elements were all against us.
Yeah.
And they were rattled. They were rattled. And then I can only describe, you've already mentioned it, I can only describe as Sergeant Wilson having a bit of a mad moment. This is not like George. I don't know what was going on.
No.
And immediately it put us on the back foot. And you could see, but we shuffled around, all had a quick cuddle and sorted things out. And then then that ruck, which happened in a split second.
Yeah.
I mean, the slow motion here does not help. But we always say that players have a duty of care for each other, and it looks entirely accidental. But the speed at which these guys play and what's going on, it really, it was a difficult situation that Curtis was dealing with. So, and I'm not buying all this, there was any intent. There can't have been. It was a fraction of a second,
There's
without being
you'd
rude.
not believe
Hookers don't work.
No, hookers don't work like that. That's going to say, unless it's food motivated.
If it had been a pikelet, I'd have agreed with them. He'd have settled it there and then.
And as I say, having watched it when it was happening, and then there's two angles, and one angle that they keep showing on social media, which is from behind, where it looks as if he's looking down. But when you see it from a different angle, he's above. He's gone beyond the player. You can't see the player.
Oh, his head is beyond the player, and the guy basically was out.
Yeah,
the guy was out cold with the first impact. So, and I'm not saying it was awful, but it really was the case of just keep replaying it. And the crowd, apparently, Dr. Jones was informing the crowd were getting upset because it's showing an injured player being injured. They only calmed down when they realised that maybe this is beginning to be trial by television, which is the thing that you and I have talked about before, that we really do need, the TMO to be completely isolated from anything to do with the TV company. Because all of a sudden it was, I need to review this. And it's like, well, and no, it's not good. I feel really sorry for Curtis. I mean, he looked utterly devastated.
He did.
He left the pitch. He was concerned for the injured player. Yeah.
Yes. I'm doing a special delivery tomorrow. Special delivery.
Yeah.
He knows.
Well,
I've told him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he looked, he'd had a difficult week with one thing and another. And then to cap that. So off he trotted. So we're now, Sergeant Wilson, actually at the start of the second half, Sergeant Wilson was warming up. Sergeant Wilson was ready to come back on. My God. He ran up, he ran down, he ran up, he ran down. He was like, It's like normally they sort of warm up, in the technical area. No, George wasn't. Yeah. George was hitting tackle bags. Eamon was getting the full throttle of Sergeant Wilson. He was ready to come back on. Yeah. So yeah, we had to get through the first bit, and of course they scored the tries, and yeah, so we're now, was it 10 points behind? But I was never all that. I'm thinking, well, this is just another hurdle they've got to climb.
Yeah, they've got to. Yeah.
And in the same way with Exeter, they had the elements now. So did I, straight at me.
Oh,
So I was sat next.
Lovely.
So there's one thing I do need. There's one thing I do need to mention in the first half. The first thing that happened was EPCR complained about the positioning of our tackle bags and the ladder pitch side because it was blocking the advertising. And so Kev Buckby and Eamon had to move the tackle bags and the ladder. But play is going on while they're walking down the sideline. So, yeah, it's lovely that EPCR have got, clear view of their advertising. But, it was slightly concerning that there's all this gear going up and down the touchline during the game.
Yeah.
It didn't strike me as particularly safe. And then I got the call. So poor Liz Tyler, my pocket starts buzzing. And Liz is calling me. That's a bit weird. Have I not sent her what she needs? She said, Claire, can you move so you're sat between the advertising? What? So I'd actually sat between the adverts, between, I don't know, it was a Guinness advert and the London 24 advert. So I said, but I am Liz. So she said, well, move to your left and let's see what goes on. So I moved slightly to my left and sat there. And I think I got Mitch scoring his try. And so that was all fantastic. That's good. Then pocket starts buzzing again. No, Claire, you've got to move. So I ended up in the corner behind the flags by the TV cameras.
Don't aim for the red hat. Don't aim for the red hat this time.
Don't aim for the red hat. Certainly not. So, so that was a bit rubbish. And I wasn't in time. And they asked me to sit behind the advertising, which actually, EPCR, if you're listening, you can't sit behind the advertising at Taman Park because there is a fence. And then you're into the stands. So, and you can't get to the stands because the gates are locked. So your instruction wasn't actually feasible. So at the second half, I headed down the other end into the rain, or rather the rain was now coming at me. And I ended up, I actually sat in front of a blank bit of advertising that they hadn't actually managed to sell. So I thought, well, they can't complain about that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And I would say that Taman Park's entertainment has always been impressive with the stand-up and whatever song from the choir. But now, thanks to the World Cup, they now sing Zombie with all their phone lights on, light show, fire. I actually recorded it because it's just magical to watch. And I hope the Saints team are watching because I'm sure we could do something like that at the Gardens. Obviously, we wouldn't sing Zombie, we'd sing something else, but we could create the same atmosphere at the Gardens because it was magical. So well done to the team at Taman Park because that was that had the hairs in the back of my neck. Anyway, so now I'm into the rain. The rain is coming straight at me, and I feel a bit guilty because the TV cameraman who was next to me, all he had to clean his lens was a box of tissues.
Oh no! In the rain.
So
it's going to be papier-mâché, isn't it?
So I had he was lovely. He was a really nice guy, but had an expletive-laden second half. He attempted to clean.
With papier-mâché.
With his papier-mâché. It was not good.
Even I'll fashion it into a giant's head.
Clearly, EPCR were being really fussy because there was a lovely lady who had to keep marshalling the ball boys whenever Finn was kicking for the posts. She had to come and stand next to me and then wave the ball boys on, who looked slightly confused because I imagine normally with a match they just run around collecting balls, but no, the ball boys had to stand behind this poor TV cameraman who's cleaning with his tissues, and then they were allowed on for the few seconds. It's just bizarre.
Very strange.
Bizarre. Yeah, really, really strange.
Okay.
So, but so second half we even further behind. Yeah, it also
Yes.
but Finn takes a fantastic penalty with the wind. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say Munster did not cope with the conditions even in the first half. The kick-off, they managed to kick dead. Now, they play there every week, well, every other week. So you'd have thought they'd have been used to it. So it was interesting to see. They too could not cope with the conditions. And so, Sergeant Wilson, who's got fed up of eating tackle bags, eventually comes back on. And then, I think the fight was really on then. They just went for it. And it was some of the most controlled, clever, thoughtful rugby I have ever seen. Finn Smith, we've said it for months. You are well beyond your years. He has nerves of steel.
Ridiculously so. Absolutely. Yeah.
But his thoughtfulness, when things went on, what does he do? He stands back, looks around, drops a goal from God knows where he was.
What
Probably
a beauty! Well, I couldn't believe how
the
far
Weedon
back
Road
he was
chippy.
for that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Blimey. It was a thing of beauty. That. Yeah.
On another occasion, twizzled round, saw there was nothing on, kicks to the corner, immediately puts Munster on the back foot. Just brilliant, utterly brilliant. There's a little poster going around, you've probably seen it, Liz, about Peter O'Mahony and Courtney, and because Mr. O'Mahony went missing. I don't think Mr. O'Mahony went missing. I think Mr. O'Mahony can only play 60 minutes of rugby. And that was generally the view of the Munster supporters, because I said, why did you pull O'Mahony off? And they said, his batteries are flat, he's gone. Whereas Courtney just kept playing.
Our Duracell bunny just kept going.
He just kept going because, Courtney had another one of those performances where he's just irrepressible. The look
on his face. The look on his face, I think, said it all when the ref brought out the red card for Curtis. I mean, I don't imagine Courtney can ever play poker, because it was, I think his face said what every Saints supporter was saying at the time in various stages, from are you having a giraffe to what the actual, it was just, bless him.
Yes, not good. And we'll talk about the refereeing team because quite a lot happened with them, poor loves. But anyway, we'll talk about them in a moment. So, but I would say that we just kept playing to our game plan. And that rattled Munster. The fact that we weren't rattled them. You can see. If you did a comparison between the two benches, I know whose I preferred, because our guys came on and were just awesome.
Awesome. Well, Sam
Elliot
Graham.
Millar-Mills.
Yes.
Well, no, I'm going to go through Elliot Millar-Mills. Fantastic.
Yes.
Looking slightly bewildered as to what was going on because he couldn't quite believe what was happening. But, a stonking performance from so we have to mention Mr. Waller. It was just, wandering around doing Alex things. He was just fantastic. He was really good.
Yeah.
Big Trev, huge performance again from Big Trev.
Yeah.
But unlike Munster, our replacements for Big Trev and Al had stonking performances, and it rattled them that we weren't rattled. That was quite clear. Mooney came on, did Mooney things.
Got in the
Tamo
way.
Just looked like he
got in the way a lot. Yes.
Got in the way. Tamo just does like running over people. Him and Tom Pearson.
You could see Tamo's going, oh, I never knew it would be this good. Never knew it would be this good.
Well, there is a photograph that hasn't actually been published of Tamo after the game, walking towards me with a huge moment of celebration. He had clearly enjoyed himself running into people, as did Tom Pearson. And Tom Pearson in the line-out securing fantastic ball. But Sammy G, you're turning into a Saints legend already, mate. So,
yeah.
again, a moment of brilliance from Mr. Laws, I think it was. We win a penalty and we kick to the corner, and it's right in the corner. Up comes Robbie Smith. A word for Robbie Smith. A few weeks ago, Robbie was in bits.
Yes.
He tried.
Yeah.
He tried to play for Bedford. Managed to last one scrum before the calf. I think it's a calf injury that's been troubling him.
Yeah.
And he had to go on. And I gave him a hug after the game, and he was just shattered that he hadn't been able to play. So to come on in conditions like that and play in that cauldron and throw in that line out, after all, because there had been one or two, miscommunication errors earlier, but to have the bottle to throw that line out, well done, mate, top work. So Mr. Pearson secures the ball, and it's game on. And I'll tell you what it reminds me of, and if you look at the photos, everybody, there was a certain Alex Waller playing against Gloucester in the Anglo-Welsh Cup. And the whole stadium was slightly surprised to see, including the referee, actually, who was Luke Pearce, to see an Alex Waller pop out the back of the ruck and run over to score. And that try, because everybody's facing the wrong way, including Luke Pearce. And it was exactly the same on Saturday. Everybody's facing the wrong way. Nobody noticed Sammy G pop out the back and dart over the line to score. Just run. Just run to score.
Get ball, run with ball, score. Yes, it works on every level. Get ball, run with ball, score.
However, whoever's playing inside centre, hold your head in shame, mate. You do not front foot tackle a prone player.
No,
and I don't know what that. Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was dangerous, and I don't know why it wasn't reviewed because Sam took a clatter to the head, and outrageous, absolutely outrageous.
Well, they're saying that it didn't actually hit him.
I'm not
on
asking
the
for
head.
any sight. I'm not. Before anyone starts, I'm not asking for any citing. I'm just asking for the player to think on.
But somebody needs to have a word with him because. Although everyone said, he lifted his feet, but if he'd have lifted his feet at the same time as Sam Graham had lifted his head, why would you go in like that? You can't go in like that safely. It's just because it's not as if it was a loose ball. It was just ridiculous. I mean, it was reckless, so reckless. Somebody needs to have a word with him. I will.
Yeah.
If nobody else will.
Yeah. No, it was
Give
not
me
good.
his deets.
Yeah. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. Anyway, well done, Sammy G. The place, you could. Dr. Jones informs me you could hear a pin drop. Yeah. Meanwhile, I could hear the howling
apart from
gale.
the Saints. Apart from the Saints fans, who you could hear on the telly. To be fair,
you could hear them. They were singing. You could definitely hear them. And I would say actually, for a lot of the second half, it was the wind, not the rain. There wasn't. It was drizzly, but it wasn't anything serious. So we then had, after Finn took the conversion, and everybody stopped worrying about the stop clock and all the rest of it. I think we've proved that the stop clock is a bit of a nonsense. Nobody's worrying about it. There's a lot of pressure on referees. They do need to sort it out, but in the scheme of things, there was nothing. Somebody said to me, but they were giving Munster 90 seconds and they were only giving us 60. You get 90 seconds when you score a try, and you get 60 seconds for a penalty. So there was no skullduggery. So I mean, it's something to talk about in the pub, but really. And so I then realised I needed to go up the other end to be in the technical area, but I also needed to swap lenses because I needed to take some short stuff. So if you've ever tried to change lenses on a camera in a deluge, it's not easy, really not easy. So yes, more of that shortly.
I haven't. Just so a point of information.
You haven't.
I haven't. No.
You surprised me, Liz. You surprised me. The great news.
Kodak Instamatic never had a change of lenses.
I thought you were going to say box brownie there for a second. Anyway,
I'm not that old.
So I ended up walking. I ended up walking, and I ended up stood amongst the S&C and Fergs and I couldn't resist. Fergs and Tom Bullock, and of course there's the famous shot that I think Info got as well, of Mitch. Not Mitch. Mitch passes to Finn, who stuffs the ball in the crowd, and then you've got Sergeant Wilson, Finn, and Tommy Freeman just jumping on each other in celebration. And,
Yes.
so I was quite pleased
Yeah.
I managed to get that. And then suddenly the heavens thought, you know what? You're not wet enough, you lot. And that was when, instead of coming horizontal, the wind dropped just a little, and they turned the tap on full. So as we started the celebration, it was hammering it down, absolutely hammering it down. So we were all saying, so there's lots of bedraggled photographs of S&C guys and all the rest of it. It was all a bit mad. I
suspect Munster felt wetter than we did, though.
Yeah, they looked devastated, and you could hear a pin drop in Thomond Park. Thomond Park is normally raucous and loud, and apart from the Saints fans who were giving it loads, as you would hope, it wasn't. It was very quiet, and they left the stadium incredibly quickly. There was no hanging about. Off they went. The Saints lads didn't have their usual huddle. I don't think they wanted to cuddle in the rain. They headed off to go and make sure they said thank you to the supporters and well done for doing that. And after they headed off, the thing actually, one of my abiding memories, you have memories of these events. So of course, Douse has got to come down from the clouds where he was sat, and so we're all celebrating. And then all of a sudden there was this roar, this sort of behind us, and it's Douse, who's just arrived pitchside. Like,
brilliant.
Yeah, he was one very, very happy director of rugby, as was
and he
Sam.
should be.
And there were lots of hugs. Everybody hugged everybody. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And they worked so hard for it, to go down to 13 men and then play half a game with 14. And to do so well
to do so well, and there, and at Munster. I mean, you think so? We're the only Premiership team to finish undefeated, and to finish. So we're third behind Toulouse and Leinster. Shall we just compare the size of squads and the budget there? And this has been done on grit and determination, not on dollars, which is immense and gives me so much hope and pleasure. I mean, when sort of towards the end and after Finn's drop goal, I think it was, I said to Paul, I said, actually, whatever happens, you can't have asked for more from these boys, And then they produced more, actually. So I was wrong. I couldn't have asked for more, but they still produced more, and I think that's what we're seeing now. In previous seasons, there's times when you've come away and you thought, well, I don't know what happened there, but this lot, they're operating at 150% of. They're superhuman at times. It almost seems. Do all the Marvel heroes, do they all wear Saints pyjamas? I think they must. It's just.
Yeah, no,
there's something so special to nick the Saracen strapline. There's something really special happening.
Yeah, there is.
That's not money.
It's happening before our eyes.
Yeah,
that's not money. No, it's happening before our eyes. And this squad are battling together. I have been in the changing room in Thomond Park before, and it's a bit cavernous. It's not very, I don't think either changing room is particularly, but it was full of. I mean, I was ushered in by Lizzie Goodchild. Like, come on, Claire, you're supposed to be in here, because I was loitering, watching all the interviews and whatever was happening in the tunnel. You will see, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of photos taken in the tunnel. They're taken by me. It'd have been nice if Premiership Rugby accredited me, but that's a bit much to ask for. So I realised, actually, thanks to my dear friend Dave Rogers, because he did something similar. He's done it several times, I think, at World Cups and things. And I thought, I just suddenly realised, if I go and stand here, I'll get the players coming off the pitch. and of course
Right.
Finn was the first to leave, and you can see he's high-fiving the supporters, and then he spots me, and then the players started to react because they realised, thanks to the red hat, who it was who was stood there dripping with a camera stuck to her face, and the reaction, and I loved Sam Graham's reaction with a big thumbs up.
Yeah.
And it was great to see. So in the changing room, as you would expect, the director of rugby gave a brief speech. The shoe was ready to go, and then we had the Shoe Army song, which was sung with fabulous gusto. It was great.
Who led it?
Great. Curtis and Kev Buckley led it.
That's what I thought.
So,
I thought,
it was,
that's very.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah.
They were showing him the love. They were showing him the support.
Yeah.
And what will be, will be. But they just finished singing the Shoe Army song and went straight into Zombie. I howled with laughter.
Oh, that is a bit rubbing salt, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what rugby players do. It's happened to us over the years.
It has happened to us. Yeah.
It didn't last long, but it was long enough. And I don't think the walls are quite thick at Tamar Park. I'll be surprised if the Munster guys heard it. But it made everybody laugh. They are loving it. So the conversation I had with Lee Radford in the changing room was around. I said to Lee,
"Where's my cake?"
No, fortunately, he didn't remember that conversation. So we're all right. We're in the clear in a minute. I said, not many people come here, Lee, and win, and you've done it on your first trip. And he looked at me and said, "Yeah, but we need to gather all them records, Claire, that we've built. We've broken this season, because there's quite a few." And I went, "Yeah, you're right, because you and I have said it several times. So we do need to write a list of all the records that we've broken."
We do.
This season.
Yeah.
Because, they don't come easily. And as Saints supporters who've seen quite a lot of down, let's enjoy the up. Let's, let's go with it. Whatever happens for the rest of the season. By the way, I've got a wobbly table. So if I start moving, it's not because the earth is literally moving for you, darling. Oh. It's because I've got a wobbly table.
You've got a wobbly table. Okay. Very windy still. It's still very windy.
Yes. So, and then poor Dr. Jones, of course, had been ushered out of the stadium. So he of course, was stood on the terrace. So he's a bit damp. And so he decided to wait by the media door, bless him. So I'm trying to put my gear back together as quickly as possible. And then I went to try and get out of Thomond Park. Well, those dreams where you're trying to go somewhere, but you never actually ever get there. It felt like that, because it's a real rabbit warren in there, and I'm not used to going, in the corridors of Thomond Park. And so it was only because I bumped into a guy from the RTE that I actually found my way out.
You got out.
And so I could still be there. I could still be there, wandering the corridors. Mm. And I knew it'd been a while since the final whistle. Poor Dr. Jones still stood in the cold. Because the lady that sat on the desk handing out the bibs and whatever's, actually I'm keeping my lanyard from this week. It's really, really good. Mm. It's one of those mementos you want to keep. I've still got mine from the 2014 final. She'd gone. She'd taken her sweets. She always put sweets on it. She'd taken all her sweets. They'd gone. They'd gone with her. So I left my bib rather damply on her table, and they'd even shut the doors. And the guy from RTE basically said, "Oh, just push the fire doors open and just make sure you shut them." So I don't know whether I set off an alarm somewhere, but yes. So
not your problem.
Off we headed into the night
for a night of celebrations.
Yes, back to Flannery's bar, because I was looking for the guy who'd sold his tickets, spend his money.
Yeah.
I didn't see him. But Dr. Jones and I were adopted by some absolutely lovely, 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 lovely Munster supporters who were a total delight. And they have a plea to Mark Darban. Yeah. Because they kind of worked out that it was likely we were going to get
that they were coming
each
back
other again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their plea is, don't go to Milton Keynes. Because two of the guys we were with, they said Milton Keynes was great, lovely stadium, but we want to come to your home.
Lovely
We
result
want
for
to
them.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to come to Franklin's Gardens and watch the two teams play each other at your place because your ground is really special. And I thought, oh, isn't that lovely?
Oh, that's nice.
Lovely.
I hope.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought. I thought we'd done away with all the plans for
We
going to
have.
Milton Keynes unless we were forced to.
Well, which we're not,
because
because
it's
we've got a big enough stadium now.
And we've got a big enough stadium now. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. We haven't got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It isn't an issue anymore. So I said, oh no, you'll be at the garden. So I did say to them, well, if they come, to come and say hello to the Red Hats. Unlike Toman Park, you have access to all four sides, so you can go for a wander around.
Yes.
And they love that
around.
idea. You can walk around. They absolutely love that idea. So hopefully the guys do come over.
That. It's one of the many things I love about the gardens is that being able to walk around and see everybody, see all your mates beforehand and afterwards as well, just to get around. And I know the front loading stuff has some disadvantages, but it does make it a much more friendly stadium, I think, than others.
Yeah, it does.
It
absolutely does. And certainly the Munster guys were very keen to come back. So hopefully we do see them. But they are quite disappointed with how their season is going. They're quite sad, Munster fans. And but hopefully we see them. We need to talk about the refereeing team, don't we, Liz?
Yes.
Right. So
we do. I knew it was going to be a problem when Kay said she'd made best friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, was sitting close to them at breakfast and said she'd made best friends with them, and my reaction to that on our WhatsApp group was, "Oh God, we're doomed," and how right I was.
Yes, but, so the refereeing team was staying at the same hotel. They were lovely, were charming, absolutely delightful. Had their photo taken with Kay. Kay, pack it in. You see a refereeing team, you go the other way, all right?
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Yes. But yes, I think they had a difficult time. It's a tough place to referee.
It is a tough place to referee. Yeah,
it's a tough place to referee. and they did have some difficult decisions to make. But by and large, they kept the game flowing. It was fine. But there were some odd things going on. But that's Toman Park. Media Watch.
That's French refereeing. Oh, can I just on Ref Watch? I did flick through the channels and saw Carl Dixon doing something somewhere, possibly South Africa.
Oh, where?
I don't know. I flicked off quite quickly. I thought, well, that's another game ruined. I'll not be watching that. I don't know. So I don't know how well he did. I object to watching the games in South Africa. It's supposed to be a European competition. I just, on principle, think the South Africans have added nothing. I've nothing against South Africans, but I just don't think they've added anything to having them in a Northern Hemisphere competition.
We're teaching them how to beat us at international level, is Dr. James's theory, and I think he's spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's spot on.
That's the only... They've got far more out of this than we have. And it's when they whinge about the having to travel that I just would... Had you not looked at an atlas before you applied to join these?
Well, the Bulls, I think, are at home in the round of 16.
They are.
As are the Stormers. But then in the quarterfinals, they're away.
Because
and then you can't have a semi-final in Africa because they're not members of EPCR. So I think they get one round where they're up on the deal. La Rochelle, of course, have got to go to the Stormers. So
and is it Leon? Is it Leon that have got to go to the Bulls? They're the other half of our draw, aren't they?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. I think so. So, and it's a bit unfortunate that it's ended up that the round of 16 is basically several of the same matches that we've already seen.
I know.
But if you can hear a whistling, that's our very noisy kettle. because Dr. Jones is... Oh, he's putting a towel over it for the noise. Oh,
That's
bless.
not very
Thank you, Dr.
scientific,
Jones.
is it? When that set
It's
it on
very
fire.
He's trying to make me comfy. It's very good.
Your staff
so,
is
yeah,
your
so
staff is better than my staff.
I think the round of 16.
I have
Shall
an
we
empty
talk
cup.
media?
Yeah. Media. Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Strap yourselves in. What would be the reaction if, for, let's say, Leicester-Leinster game, they'd have had all Tigers commentary with no input from anybody Irish?
Yeah.
What would have been the reaction?
I know.
There'd have been all sorts of accusations, the usual, oh, we're arrogant, English, the usual stuff. But it's perfectly...
Yeah.
They did the same. Yeah. They did the same at Connacht on Friday night as well. And the bias is unbelievable. Makes Austin on a Tigers Saints game look balanced.
Here comes my coffee. Thank you, Doctor. Oh, look, and look, the cake. Oh, I'm going. Oh, yes, look, the cake. Yeah. So look, we've got coffee and cake on Ladies What Pod, and look, that is Dr. Jones's arm. Okay.
That's Dr. Jones's arm. So I see that, suitably clad in black, green, and gold. I'm pleased to say.
Would you like a bit of cake, Dr. Jones? You have it. So the cake's being delivered. There you go. A bit of cake.
Is that what cake would that be, Miss Jones?
Well, I need to mention, though, as we'll part media watch from it is your delightful Red Cross parcel for us travellers of lemon drizzle cake.
Yeah.
The best lemon drizzle cake. How do I know this? Well, partly because I've tried it earlier, but actually I know your lemon drizzle cake very well. Ooh, some of the colour.
It's come from the serviette.
So I've got a slightly pink lemon cake. I'm going to have a bit. So, I asked a question. There it is. I asked a question, which was, which saintsman would you love to see as pundits for the return game? I know I'd want
Daisy.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like that.
Only thinking because of what happened to him at Munster, if you remember, when he was felled and whoever the ref was let the game carry on around him, absolutely disgusting. And then they let while he's still being put on the stretcher, they let the kids onto the pitch. I will never forgive them for that. So Daisy, who else? So current or former?
Whoever you want.
I was going to say, I don't know if he'd be any good, but Shane Geraghty springs to mind. Munster at home.
No, I don't think he'd be any good.
I don't even know what he's doing now. I don't think he'd be any good. He's not very eloquent. Who have you got in mind?
So I've got Woody in mind.
Yes.
Basically, they wouldn't need to say anything. They wouldn't need to do any commentary. Just ask him a question and off he goes. And of course, the other one who has got experience of being a pundit is Dylan.
Yes,
he's done stuff for Amazon Prime.
Yeah. Oh, he's done quite a lot. He's done stuff for the Beeb as well, hasn't he? Six Nations and stuff. So yeah. I think they could have, even Chris Ashton at a push.
Oh no. I'll be no.
I don't know if I told you this, but when
Quinlan or
exactly. When I saw him in Nice and asked him what he was doing now, and he said, he's doing some hospitality for Leicester. So I went, okay, why was that? Was that because you kept turning up anyway and they thought they'd got to give you a job? And he said, pretty much so. So he's been down the gardens like that many times just recently. I said, I thought you promised me you were going to be doing hospitality for Leicester and not darkening our doors again. And he went, well, I'm sorry. No, you're not. Not at all sorry.
Well, at least, as I said last week, at least he's remembering where he is.
Yes,
the Irish press, of course, were as Irish as you expect them to, and they are talking to their audience.
But the BBC,
So
the
yes.
bloody BBC, pardon me, I swore, but the BBC are the same. Despite losing, Munster qualify. Despite losing against 14 men, Munster still qualify. Munster qualified. Just what on earth? Really, Beeb, get grip.
Yes, the story, just so you're clear, BBC. And to be fair on Graham, I'm sure Graham's commentary was spot on. Lenny was buzzing after the game. Graham was a bit busy interviewing Sergeant Wilson, so I didn't really get a chance to talk to him. But I imagine Radio Northampton did us proud, because they always do. In fact, actually, I need to tell Graham, if you're watching, Graham, there was a real buzz about the town about your broadcasting from Flannery's. There was much excitement that the BBC, Radio Northampton, yes, it went round the pub where we were, and they were very excited about it all. So I was like, there you go.
Have they met Graham before?
Yes. So, but I have to say, well done. You're never going to hear me say this. It's unusual. But Stuart Barnes in the Times this morning, spot on, mate. Spot on.
He's always been better as a writer. He's always been far better as a writer than as a commentator. I don't know what happens when he opens his mouth, but when he writes,
his assertion is that if Borthwick is going to be true to what he's saying, the battle is now on between the two Smiths as to who has the starting jersey at 10. And I think Finn, on Marcus, actually, Finn, you don't need to do Marcus hitch kicks. Just pack it in. I know you want to learn. No.
But
you're better than that.
Well, Brian O'Driscoll also said that Finn Smith, he thinks, is more suited to the international game. He reads a game so much better than Marcus Smith.
Well, he's hero.
And he's so solid,
hero. Absolutely solid. He's boyhood hero. So for all you writers and Twitterati and ex-rati, or whatever you call them now, his boyhood hero was Wilkinson, which is why he tackles the way he does, the way he worries about game management the way he does. So enlightening to O'Gara, no, you've got the wrong bloke. It's Wilkinson.
Yeah.
And if you model your game on
it
Johnny
absolutely
Wilkinson,
is Wilkinson.
You're not going far wrong. So I think Stuart Barnes got it absolutely right. I think Finn is in a vein of form at the minute that he really should be considered for that jersey come certainly Rome, but maybe for more of the tournament. And I am wearing my black, green and gold spectacles this morning. I don't care.
Yes. But I think people who don't have black, green and gold spectacles are saying the same thing. So, and people that I put, so like O'Driscoll, who's, quite an educated rugby man, does sometimes spouts nonsense, but on the whole talks a lot of sense. And he's saying Finn Smith is far more rounded than Smith of the Marcus kind. Yeah, Marcus Smith can do the make breaks and do stuff, but he has to be so protected. I don't think O'Driscoll said that. That's me, actually. He has to be playing with Don Brandt or with Danny Kerr, whereas Finn Smith, not so much. Although when he plays with Mitch, obviously, that partnership. Dear, nobody.
Well, that was the other thing that
Stuart would want to face that partnership.
No, and that's what Stuart Barnes was saying. It should be treated as a partnership. Kerr, Smith, Mitchell Smith, because they know each other so well. By the way, for those of you who may have heard knocking in the background, cleaning have just trying to find out when Dr. Jones and I are clearing off so they can sort out our room. It's all excitement here, I tell you. But it's. I think Stuart Barnes has it absolutely spot on. I would say, now here's a thought, and I've never heard anybody say this, but the more I watch Fraser Dingwall, the more I see Will Greenwood.
Yes. Yeah.
I know it must be annoying for current players to be like to former players, but I've thought this before. And Saturday's game actually proved it to me. Will is one of the few people who also has won at Thomond Park. Leicester won many years ago.
They did,
And
2007.
Yeah, something like that. And Will played that night, and Fraser was imperious on Saturday. He was calm. He was absolutely what everybody needed, and he played some beautiful
that leadership as well that Greenwood had. That just being solid, you don't have to do the fancy dance stuff. He'd just be reliable, and we're very fond of Fraser, aren't we?
We are very fond of Fraser. So
yeah.
well played, Fraser.
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean now. Now you mention it, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep. So
that was a shiver of excitement of the future.
You're going to have to watch Look East, Liz, because I'll be somewhere, hopefully, in an airport on my way home.
Yes, I will be watching Look East. I'll be
yeah. If they can't feature this as one of the biggest wins, then I haven't seen.
They can easily, because it happened outside, not just outside of Look East territory, outside of England. Oh, that might, they might not even. It's very west where it happened.
Very west for Look East, yes.
Very west.
Yes, so it could blow them completely off course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So don't bet on it.
I'll
let you know. We'll let you know. We'll catch up with that next week. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, bless. I have to say, congratulations to James Burridge and his little films. James has been doing a number of these, and his latest one, he did one with George, and now he's done one with Finn. And I'm going to have a watch of it because they're beautiful. It's a pair of them who filmed them, and they're beautifully done. And no, James, you're doing us proud because those films will be a fantastic record of what's happening in these lads' careers.
The interview with Finn. There was an interview with Finn so it was lovely, and in fact so much so that my mum phoned up to say, I've just seen the interview with that young Finn Smith, isn't he lovely? And I said, oh, is Alex still your favourite player? Ooh. So she's having to go and think about that. So
oh dear.
I know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we should also talk about quickly about the other teams, because it was a winning weekend.
Weekend, wasn't it? Brilliant.
Yes, So Loughborough had to move their fixture because of a frozen pitch at Franklin's Gardens. Normally we get one of those big hot air blower things, but of course the revenue associated, I imagine, with a Lightning game just didn't make it commercially feasible to do it, which was a bit sad. But they have an all-weather pitch. So, hey, where did they go? They went back to their all-weather pitch. And they beat Trailfinders. So, well done. Bonus really point
good.
Win.
Well done.
Played really, really well. And, well done to Rachel Malcolm and their team. Fabulous, fabulous win. And hopefully at some point I'll see you
really
guys.
Good. Yes.
Really, really good. And then the under-18s. So the under-18s are clearly modelling themselves on the senior 15. Go behind, come back to win.
Yeah. That was a good result as well.
Fantastic win on the road. Midland Development, who used to be formerly known as Wasps or Worcester, whichever the one, because there's two halves, aren't there? I think it was the Wasps half that were playing.
Okay.
And they won something like 42-46. So brilliant performance.
Yes,
utterly
really
brilliant.
Good.
The Blues, who I learned from Sherpa 2, were watching the Saints game on the bus. They were gripped on the way home. Yeah, they were all watching it. And, Blues, you've supported us all the way. There's a number of players in that squad who've come on leaps and bounds thanks to your efforts. So absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's lovely to hear that you're supporting the lads. They got two bonus points on the road. A losing bonus point and a try bonus point. So,
and at Doncaster, that's pretty good,
tough
actually.
Tough place to go. Yeah. So to get 2 points there, I think the lads should be, really, really chuffed for themselves. So well done.
Yeah.
And it's great to hear that they're supporting the Saints lads in the way that they were, including one.
I'm just imagining the bus. I'm just imagining the bus, actually, And Tom Lockett was on. So Tom Lockett was on the bus coming back from Doncaster, and where were his parents? Where were his caring parents? Were they watching him in Doncaster, or were they doing gin and tonic trail in Limerick?
Yes.
Well done.
Yes.
Well done,
They were.
Lockett Senior. I think. Well done.
They did look like they were having fun. Yes, I know they were having fun. So So well done, Tom, and well done the Lockett family for going on tour anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, and apparently, Kerry Lockett, his mum, tells me that his grandmother has Tom's try against Toulon on repeat. So,
and as any granny would, and sure, if I'd got a film of Harry's try, I'd be watching that on repeat.
Yes, and yours wasn't beating one of the biggest clubs in France.
No,
Harry, I realised that I hear, was it Owens or
Owens?
It was Owens. I realised that Owens, a big team, but
yeah, no, any granny would do the same, I'm sure. But well done, Tom Lockett's granny. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So last week, the internationals. Were picked.
Blimey. Yeah.
Blimey.
So 7. The Magnificent Seven.
And Rory in Scotland, of course.
So that I just think we've got the most players going up to England from any club, which will be interesting, given that there have been, I was going to say, thoughts in the past that it's been a bit of a Tigers Sarries cliqueiness going on. Well, we're a clique of our own now, aren't we? I think it's really good, really nice for them that that so many going, and well done everybody. And just
well done
to
to the lads who've been chosen.
Really shame for Curtis. I'm not quite sure how he's missed out on that, and a real shame for Lewis Ludlam as well, because I know he's injured.
Yes, Lewis. Well, more on Lewis in a minute, because we have Lewis news. So, because we ought to talk about Lewis. Because
yes,
we'll do that in a second. But so well done to the those chosen for England and for Scotland. I think Rory has timed his run into the Scotland team really well.
Yeah.
And I wish him all the very best, because he had a pretty rough time being played in the wrong position by, as we said last week. And I really hope that Mr. Borthwick takes advantage of some of the talent that has been developed amongst the Saints lads. We'll see. Absolutely, we'll see.
As I said to Richard Hill, look at me name dropping. As I said to
World Cup winner Richard Hill, when
I rugby tackled him in the village the other day, who are you looking at? And if you take them, you must not break them. And he said, well, I'll try not to, he said, looking a little scared, because I don't think he'd been rugby tackled by a 5'2" ginger before. So it was a bit of a...
No, you see,
come
really
to
scared.
Saints, whole new experience. Yeah, so that's, we'll see what happens. So, right.
Absolutely. So I haven't talked about photography, have I?
No, you're going to go Lewis news? Do you want to do Lewis news first?
Let's do Lewis. Yes, Lewis. So Lewis was training last week. I don't know if
he was.
I did put some pictures on my website. So he was training, and he was buzzing around like a buzzy thing. He was clearly absolutely buzzing to that. As we said the previous week, he just wants to get out there and have a run around with his mates. I have no idea when he'll be ready to come back, but he's clearly training. He's working incredibly hard.
I think he's hoping for next week. I think he's hoping for next week.
I think we're all hoping for next week.
He was hoping for this week, but it would have been a push. And, and think, but next week I think he'll be,
Excellent.
Hopefully so. It'd be lovely to have him back.
It was great to see him. Great, as we love seeing I was buzzing for Robbie Smith when he was back and able to be part of such a big game.
Yeah.
Sam Matavesi, get better soon, dear heart. I don't know what's wrong with you. What I did learn was Mr. Ram, Mr. Seabrook, and Mr. Hendy well done team, because they're working as a
Yes.
team to get themselves back. So
Oh,
we
bless them.
often
Well,
hear, we often hear that it's a long road back when you're on your own. Well, those three have palled up and are doing all their rehab together, and I think that's fantastic that they're looking after each
That's
other.
really
So, well
that's
done, lads,
that's
and well
good.
done to well done to the Matt Lee and his team doing as usual a cracking job looking after the lads. But it's great. It's great to see. And I will be sending you your other wet photographs later because you look a bit wet, pitch. You had to have the photo, I'm guessing.
Yes.
So I was buzzing
So
to
now
see
photography.
Lewis. I think. Photography corner. Yes,
photography corner now.
Tomorrow when I get home, I will be selling one of my lenses in order to buy the lens that I use. Remember I said I was hiring a lens?
Yeah.
Oh my God. For the geeks amongst you, it's a Z series 400mm prime f4.5, which is an odd aperture. Given the conditions,
obviously.
Given the conditions, it is obviously, yes. You're all over that like a rash, aren't you?
Yeah.
It is a stunning bit of kit. I need a shout out for Lenses for Hire.
Lenses for Hire. Okay.
Lenses for Hire, who are a little company based in East Sussex, I think. I could be wrong. I could have got that hopefully wrong, but they're certainly in the south of England. I have rented lenses off them several times, and they're a great bunch. Actually, ironically, the first time I used a big lens was one of theirs all those years ago against Munster.
Oh
yeah.
There you go.
And they've been fantastic.
There's a pattern.
There's a pattern. They haven't batted an eyelid over the fact I can't get their lens back to them today. They've sorted me out, and so thank you, Richie and the team at Lenses for Hire. You're a wonderful bunch. And that lens was just immense. It was just ridiculously good. So unfortunately, Sherpa 2, it's not up to your lights at Goldington Road. Will you please give them a clean? But Toman Park has fantastic modern LED lights, so I knew I was likely to do okay. But given the conditions, that lens, just the best. Really, really good.
Good.
The togs at Toman Park. I feel sorry for you if you have to put up with that nonsense every week. Yes, the lights are great, but it's not the guards, put it that way. Media team are great. Graham's flurry of petticoats. Graham congratulated him on their food, with Liz Tyler stood next to him, and then said, "So, Graham, I mean, mean to Liz. The food that's offered is really good. I think porky goodness from Saul's is wonderful. So don't you ever go." Yeah. So anyway, so the photography went really well until I was a complete muppet again with my little cloth in the changing room. And bear in mind, I am dripping. So if the photos in the changing room have that slight sepia, misty
tint,
soft
focus, is it?
Soft focus. It's I borrow. Best thing, Alex Waller lent me his towel. Wasn't that sweet?
That's really nice.
Practically clean. It was very kind of him. So there were lots of great photos, but they'll all look a bit grainy and a bit sort of Victorian.
Yeah.
So I really do need to get myself sorted there. But I'm really pleased with them because, and there's a group shot, which I know, we haven't won anything yet, but they wanted to. They did. It's a really significant milestone winning at Toman Park. So they had a little group shot with everybody in it, and then I experienced something I have never experienced in the 17 seasons of shooting the Saints. It was almost scary. This is
the
Courtney
front row
Laws.
picture. Oh no, Courtney Laws. Oh.
This is Courtney Laws playing peekaboo around a pillar.
What? In
Courtney
the
is
immortal
enjoying
words
himself.
of Oprah, what? Okay.
He was doing this. Yeah. It's like, well, Mr. Laws is definitely having fun.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
fills
so
my heart with joy.
yeah, no, he was having a good time, and
Yeah.
the front row picture is great.
Yes.
The lads look like they've had. Shout out to Elliot Millar-Mills again, who went over and had a chat with Dr. T. Dr. T was stood on the terrace, dripping, and they were doing their lap of honour, and Tim did a "Go on, you Saints!" and Elliot spotted him and went over and had a chat. So thank you, Elliot, for noticing Dr. T dripping on his
Dripping
own
in the rain.
on the terrace.
Yes.
Dripping in the rain. So
That's
thank you for
nice.
going over and saying hello, because that meant a lot to Dr. T. Yeah, he's nodding. For those of you who can't hear his neck creaking for all those scrums over the years, he is nodding.
Well, didn't he
And
nominate Mr. Millar-Mills as one of his new favourite players anyway, as well? Sure,
well,
he
yes,
mentioned
I'll
that he
just
really-
check that. Dr. Jones, is Elliot one of your new favourite players? Is he on your list? Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I thought
There
I'd
you go.
heard that, yes. Even more so now, he's
that's-
gone up the list. Up the list.
He's moved up the ranking. Yeah, absolutely, he's moved up the ranking. So
Talking of moving up the ranking, what we haven't done, player of the match.
Oh, I think we're just overcome by everybody. Yeah, what? Go on then. Now, who do you think? Who do you think? Oh,
anybody really could have been, but for me, it's got to be Finn. I'm afraid.
So the cuddly zebra is in Courtney's possession.
Yes.
And he did lead from the front. There was a lot of grunt work. There was a lot of management going on.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely with you. Finn Smith, take a bow. The ladies walk pod.
Yeah. I mean,
honourable mentions
for
to
a ridiculously
Sammy G.
mature display. Yes,
ridiculously.
Yes, and everybody else. You know, so many people did such good work, but just pulling the strings, staying calm again, going through the processes, doing the stuff, trusting the people around him that when he does something, they'll react to it. Yeah, Finn Smith, take a bow, and you're only 21.
Word for Ollie Slightholme. Only 21.
Oh yes, bless
And a word for Ollie Slightholme. So he gets the shepherd's crook because, of course, we need it.
Yeah.
He smiled again.
I know, I
Ollie
saw smiling.
Smiled. Yes.
I know.
Yes, John.
Hang on. So
yeah, he's smiling. He's still smiling.
Ollie
Even
smiling.
Ollie is enjoying himself.
And Courtney playing peekaboo round a pillar. Some zombie apocalypse. Definitely.
Something's going on with the world's axis on that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll have a pint of what they're drinking, please.
Absolutely. We do need to talk about Newcastle. Who
we do?
Alex Codling stood down.
I was
down.
Yeah, they won.
Yes.
They won on the weekend, and Steve Diamond's taking over, but fortunately not taking over till after they've played us. So
yeah, Mickey Ward, I think he's their forwards coach. He's looking up. Yeah. So we going to have quite an interesting team selection because, of course, the England boys are not available, but Rory is available. So we have our new lad Gabriel, who I met at training.
Yes,
lovely, charming young man. Yeah, absolutely charming young man. So he was going well. He was buzzing around like a buzzy thing. Came over for a chat and said I've only been here a fortnight and I'm loving it. Well, that's what we were. And he wasn't just saying it because that's what they say. You can always tell when a player absolutely means it.
Yes,
and clearly he's having some fun, which is great. But we will have quite a change back line come Saturday with the non-availability of the England boys. Charlie Savala, who was there on Saturday, didn't get on, but he was looking great in training. Again, still smiling. They're all very smiley at the minute. I can't think why. So it'll be good to see Tom James, Charlie Savala. I'm guessing here. I have no inside knowledge before anyone starts.
I can't see who
will
else.
Be the starting 9.
Yeah. 10.
Archie. So Archie McParland is on his way back from injury. He was buzzing around the the training pitch, so he's very excited. So we might see Archie very soon, and it'd be great to see him because he had such a good time and played so well in the Premiership Rugby Cup.
Yes,
It'd be good to see him back out there.
And of course, we've still got Tom Litchfield.
Ollie Slight.
Tom Litchfield, Ollie Slight.
Ollie Slightholme is still available.
Yeah. So Tom
So-
Litchfield can
so
play
we-
anywhere,
you know,
as
and
we
that's the
know.
thing.
Put him anywhere; he doesn't care as long as he's
And that's
there.
the thing. That really is the thing, because this playing everybody together is serving us so well. If we do need to bring players in, they know how to play with the senior team, and they're not phased about playing with the senior team because they do it every training session. They're not off on some separate place. So it'll be interesting to see. Who I'm hoping to do training on Thursday, so I shall see them all again. Flight permitting. If we're not back by Thursday, can somebody send
free the
a
saintly
rowing
two
boat over? I will. Having no faith in the weather, you might all be thinking, "Oh, what's Claire wearing?" Having no faith in the weather, I had extra clothing. I didn't realise it was because I'll be here another day. Yes. I didn't bring extra jumpers. I've only got 2 jumpers with me, which is why I'm still wearing these Saints at least. Anyway,
and it's why you always pack extra for luck, don't you? You always
extra
how many
for luck,
days?
yes.
How many days
Yes.
am I going? That's that many pairs of socks and pants, and a few extra just in case, because you never know. You never know.
You never know. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a much changed Saints, but I'm really looking forward to it because, as Davs has said to me many times, all the lads who aren't playing are busting a gut to get out there. Mr. Dependable was in, as was Angus Scott Young in Lichfield. They were the travelling reserves, and he was buzzing around before the game again. Lots of buzzing going on with the Saints.
I just
at the minute.
think whenever people have come through and you think, oh, well, like Tom Litchfield, and you just think, is he going to manage it? Is he going to manage it? And George Hendy as well, who'd had a couple of runs that maybe that were a bit too soon, but this season the management of the team has been so good that you just feel whoever they bring up, it is the right and proper time for them. And I've so much faith in Dowse and Vesti and Lee Radford, and again that core of steel that Lee Radford has put in. I don't know how he's done it to this group, but he's made it. He has to be the difference. Sam Vesti's made them believe in themselves to a certain extent, but Lee Radford has somehow given them those extra tools. And it has to be him because that's the only difference there is. Those extra tools to just dig deeper and go again. I think it is fear of having to go and face him because he's quite frightening, I think. Just saying.
Yes, and just saying, yes. But yeah, no, it is great to see. But it will be quite a change Saints against, and it'd be quite interesting to see how Newcastle go.
Yes, yeah.
But so we're all back at the Garden. We're all back at the Gardens
this
week, and then we're in a sort of mini break. We're in a mini break for Saints until we start playing friendlies again. And but we have got Bedford playing a few games, and we've got Loughborough Lightning. So there's still, and of course we've got the Six Nations. I never do internationals. Can't bother too pointy elbow.
No.
I should be sat in front of the sofa if I'm not at Goldington Road or the Gardens to watch Loughborough.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's a bit pointy elbow for me. Anyway, Liz, in unusual circumstances.
In unusual and strange circumstances, but we've done that.
Yes.
And
hopefully I do. Dr. Jones and I do get back. And
hopefully
we see you at the Gardens
everything's
on Saturday.
recorded properly, and we will all catch up at the Gardens on Saturday. Yes, and I've got to go now and make pikelets. Special delivery of pikelets.
Ooh, pikelet delivery for the man will be up before the beak.
Yes, I'm presuming it might well be that he has his disciplinary tomorrow as well, so pikelets may be what he needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what they say.
See what they say.
Right.
Who knows?
So that was late. Who knows? Thank you to everybody who's listening to the pod. Our figures are still really, really good. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's been great. What I would say, please subscribe. Please share with your mates. I was wandering around Limerick talking about it. So we might have some Irish listeners.
Yeah.
You might not. They might not want to relive it.
No.
But if you have listened, thank you very much. But do subscribe. We're really, really grateful for all our listeners and feedback we've had. It's been fantastic.
Yes, and
so
see
far.
as many as possible on Saturday. So
Early kick-off,
hopefully
everybody.
catch up with
it's 2 o'clock.
That's very useful because I've got to be in Derbyshire. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Going to a jolly in Derbyshire on the Saturday night. So really good of them to do an early kick-off. Means we don't have to shoot off straight away. I don't know. It's the power. It's the power I wield. No power at all there. So, right.
Anyway, everybody,
okey-dokey, Mrs. J. Travel safely. I think you get home faster because of the wind assisted when you do get in the air. They seem to be practically landing before they'd taken off last night with the ones who came home last night. So,
the ones
have fun.
I felt sorry for the people who took off from Manchester to go to Bristol and ended up in Paris. That felt a bit harsh. But yes,
there was all sorts of bizarre things going. Somebody else was supposed to land in Dublin and landed in Bordeaux or something. There was some weird stuff going on last night.
There was
really
some very weird stuff. So in some ways we were quite glad that we were just in a hotel. I haven't mentioned the hotel dinner. So thank you to the Dolmoreland Hotel. Really friendly staff, fantastic. I've looked after as well. But they clearly love their potato. Because with dinner last night, we had potato 3 ways.
Well,
boiled
to be
potato,
fair, at
mashed potato.
At dinner and roast. Well, to be fair, at dinner yesterday we had roast. Potato.
No.
Oh, we had potato 2 ways because we had dauphinoise and roast potato. So to be fair,
no, it was mash, ordinary boiled, and then boiled in the skin in butter and parsley.
Oh, I see. Yes, no roasties then. Oh, no, I'm not sure about that.
But it's all been good. But I've never had potato 3 ways before in such volume. I mean,
let's say, okay.
And on that note, on that potato note,
before there's a lot of inappropriate thoughts springing to my head, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I'll travel safely, and we will see you next Saturday. Bye, everybody.
Farewell. Bye.